Well, recording is in progress, and thank everyone for joining us here. This is Andrew Williams Jr., and I'm actually here with our special guest tonight, Mr. Charles D. Sharp, along with our worldwide audience. This is being hosted as a program for the World Humanitarian Organization for Peace and Equity. They're based in Lagos, Nigeria. I am, in fact, the international chairperson, or the chairperson of the International Advisory Board. So I'm very pleased and excited to be bringing you a series of workshops. This is our third weekly workshop. We began with the Sustainable Development Goals. Last week, we dealt with the United Nations Global Compact. And this week, we're dealing with 4 days of a volunteer workshop on disaster awareness, disaster planning, disaster preparation, and disaster discovery. What that doesn't tell you is that this is being done in the context of a global plan of action. I'm going to share my screen once again. As I mentioned, this is a program being brought to you by the World Humanitarian Organization for Peace and Equity in Lagos, Nigeria. And the background of HOPE is that the motivation and inspiration behind WHOPE establishment is to localize the Sustainable Development Goals for humanity. And I'll stop there because that's exactly what we're doing. We're addressing the Sustainable Development Goals for humanity. I'm going to further share my screen, if I may, and introduce you briefly to our other co-sponsor, the Black Emergency Managers Association with Charles D. Sharp. The mission of BEMA is to provide information, networking, educational and professional development opportunities to African Americans and African descent emergency managers to advance the emergency management and homeland security profession, to assist and ensure diversity and community involvement in all phases of emergency management, to include grant opportunities, training, preparedness, etc., with an emphasis on the long-term recovery of the community. The disaster reduction goal is the development and strengthening of mechanisms and capacities at the community level to build resilience to hazards. Policies and programs include a whole community approach using all members of a community. That includes the disabled, children, senior citizens, ex-offenders, in addition to responders, first and follow-on, in implementing emergency management and disaster reduction for communities. I do want to give you context. This is being brought to you, as I mentioned, as a continuation of our project to uplift the Sustainable Development Goals. I do have a personal history with the Sustainable Development Goals, and for those of who you don't know, the 2015 through 2030 Sustainable Development Goals are specifically the second iteration of the Millennium Development Goals that were begun in 2000. I was very proud and honored to have witnessed the launch of the Millennium Development Goals and of the United Nations Global Compact. I'm going to briefly share my screen with you now so that you'll have an overview of what we're talking about when we talk about the Sustainable Development Goals.
The United Nations is an organization with goals of peace and sustainable development around the world. Their mission is huge, but we're breaking it down in 2 minutes. 17 sustainable development goals. Let's get to them, cause the more you know. Look, in some corners of the world today, people are living on $1 a day. Hey, that's not how it ought to be. So go 1, eliminate poverty, and go 2, root out hunger across the globe. There's 800 million people hungry if you want to know. Number 3 is health and well-being. and getting people the health care that they need in. Learning in school are the hard to go for. Education opens up minds and doors. Goal number 5 is empower girls and women so they can have the same rights that men are given. Number 6, people need water that's clean. Poor sanitation can spread disease. Carbon-free energy is goal number 7, and how to achieve it is the question that's pressing. But if we put our minds together and work hard, we can find a solution, I'm guessing. 17 sustainable development goals to improve life all around the globe. Protecting human health and the environment. Whatever bed we make, we gon' have to lie in it. 17 sustainable development goals to improve life all around the globe. Protecting human health and the environment. Whatever bed we make, we gon' have to lie in it. Now imagine that you work all day for no pay. Economic growth and decent work is goal 8. Goal number 9 is to foster innovation in infrastructure and industrialization. Goal number 10, inequality reduction. 11 is sustainable city construction. 12, well, that's sustainable consumption. So what we use matches up with production. Goal 13 calls for urgent action to combat climate change, cause we know it's happening. 14, protect life under seas. 15, protect life on land. Goal 16 is for peace and justice. All over the planet they're in high demand. And the final goal, number 17, is the critical factor, the heart of the machine. It's the strength in the way we achieve these goals of sustainable development around the globe. Yo, 17 sustainable development goals to improve life all around the globe. Protecting human health and the environment. Whatever bed we make, we gon' have to lie in it. 17 sustainable development goals to improve life all around the globe. Protecting human health and the environment. Whatever bed we make, we gon' have to lie in it.
Well, thank you. And as I said, that has been the continuing theme that we've been working on for these past several weeks. We began with the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, and we then moved on to the United Nations Global Compact. So again, bear with me just a moment, and I'll share with you my screen. So you'll have an overview of what we're talking about and how it relates to what we're doing right now.
As a human family, we've had an enormous wake-up call to how connected we are with a tiny little virus that comes along and shuts us down.
We all live in this world together. The same blood flows in me and any other person.
We're facing the challenges of an ecosystem that is stressed.
Things are not moving as fast as they should. Things are improving, but not as fast as they should.
The challenges that we are facing, they are materializing so fast that it's not only my children or grandchildren which will experience the consequences if we fail.
To do it, we need to do it together. Collaboration, north, south, east, west, black, brown, white. Strengthen the diversity of the human family is what we need right now to get us past this incredibly difficult time. Might sound like it's impossible, but that's what we work towards, making the impossible possible.
20 years ago, a small group of United Nations and business leaders came up with a visionary proposal.
I propose that you, the business leaders here gathered in Davos, and we, the United Nations, initiate a global compact of shared values and principles which will give a human face to the global market.
I always say part of Kofi Annan's genius was he invited business, but he also addressed civil society and labor organizations.
The mission of the United Nations Global Compact is to mobilize companies around the world to align their operations and strategies with 10 universal principles in the areas of human rights, labor, environment, and anti-corruption.
The UN represents the body that aims to drive international cooperation and drive peace and security for humanity. And I think it unifies all of society around this set of 17 goals.
Our objectives cannot be met if the private sector doesn't play a fundamental role. And so the Global Compact is a platform in which all those businesses that abide by the principles of, and values of the United Nations and of the Charter to work together, representing the best of humankind.
For the last 2 decades, the initiative has grown to encompass local networks in more than 60 countries, engaging directly with over 10,000 companies.
The local networks are our global footprint around the world, and they work with us to translate the 10 principles as well as the Sustainable Development Goals into actionable pieces of work for businesses globally.
It is so decided.
Since 2015, the 17 Sustainable Development Goals and the Paris Climate Agreement have provided the most powerful common agenda that the world has ever seen, with an essential role spelled out for business.
L'accord de Paris pour le climat est accepté.
Any business that continues to operate under its own self-interest will not be around very long. So businesses that have a strong purpose, that understand how they can make society better, will be embraced by society and will be around for a long time.
Be the change that you want to see in business.
I truly believe that companies who do not put sustainability, the SDGs, in their strategies, they're going to disappear.
The mindset of consumers has changed. They increasingly want to buy from companies that are contributing to society as a whole.
Business must be part of the solution in when we address these big global problems.
The focus has shifted to both the short term and the long term, both doing well and doing good, making profits and making a change. This is a reality of the world now. Leaders need to lead sustainably.
The United Nations Global Compact is leading the transformation ahead, challenging companies to take more ambitious action on the Sustainable Development Goals.
I think it's absolutely impossible to face the challenges of today, the very quick change that is happening, without having the youth leading the way and helping us define the right strategies, the right policies, the right approaches to address the global problems.
The world is waking up, and change is coming whether you like it or not.
Climate justice! Now! Climate justice! Our planet's not for profit! Now!
The world today has got more opportunities than it has the challenges that can be overcome by the opportunities that we have.
You find people in the most desperate of situations, determined to fight for a better future. That's the kind of world I want.
What has changed in a very short period of time is that the narrative is different, and that is fantastic.
If you want to have a good business, you have to mobilize people. A business is a sum of people working to something.
More and more people realize that sustainability is really about making the pie bigger, better, and more inclusive.
I hope in the future all businesses in the world will think about their own purpose. Business can only exist when they have a purpose.
We've got to show progress. We've got to reverse what's happening.
I see the Global Compact as an incredible organization working together with businesses to build a more sustainable world.
We are united across the globe, for the globe. We're united despite our challenges, no matter how daunting the task may seem. We are united by possibilities because this is bigger than one business, because we are better together. We all have the same job. We are united in the business of a better world.
Well, again, thank you so much for allowing me to share that information with you. You can find all this information I've shared so far on my website, and that's andrewnetworks.com. That's andrewnetworks.com. So to begin today's presentation, let me briefly share my screen once again to separate these steps. Both Lady Alicia Hamilton and I are proud to be lifetime members of the Black Emergency Managers Association with Charles E. Sharp. And as I said, I'm the international chairperson for the World Humanitarian Organization for Peace and Equity. I do want to share with you the fact that our commitment is not just based on activities that are happening within the United States, but in fact, they have a worldwide impact. That's the topic of today's conversation. We're dealing with disaster awareness, disaster planning, disaster preparation, and disaster recovery. But again, this is not something that's happening in a vacuum. Alongside the United Nations Global Compact and alongside what we now know as the Sustainable Development Goals, there was also launched at that time the Sendai framework for disaster risk reductions. And there are 7 targets to achieve by 2030. That is to substantially reduce global disaster mortality, to reduce the number of affected people, to reduce economic loss in relation to GDP, and reduce damage to critical infrastructure and services disruption. At the same time, the effort is to substantially increase the number of countries with national and local disaster reduction strategies by 2030, to increase the number of international cooperation agreements between developing countries, and to increase the availability and access to early warning systems and disaster risk reduction information. If you can see my screen, I'm shifting now to the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, where you can find more information at globalgoals.org. There's a specific section where we're encouraged to take action today. That is what this effort represents today. There are 17 Sustainable Development Goals and many positive actions you can take. Which ones should you focus on? There is actually a quiz to help you decide. Through it, you'll discover 3 global goals you feel most aligned with, and 3 things you can start doing today to make a difference. We're focused on number 17, Global Partnerships for Development. And we're also using a tried and true methodology. I earlier mentioned to you that Lady Alicia and I are members of BEMA. Well, we earned that distinction by participating with the integrated whole community approach to government, to emergency management in the United States. There was a series of workshops held in 2011, and we were able to participate, Lady Alicia and I, with those workshops, and that's changed our lives and changed the ways that we deal with our business operations and our humanitarian efforts in the community. The whole community approach to emergency management, as you see here, is a toolkit not just for the United States. This is being shared on the OECD platform that reaches not just Europe, but the rest of the world. They've recognized this approach as very critical to ways that we're devoting time, energy, and effort to accomplish not just the Sustainable Development Goals, but to leave no one behind. For those of you who cannot read it, I'll read it aloud. In 2012, the Federal Emergency Management Association, FEMA, introduced a whole community emergency management strategy to coordinate all levels of government, increase individual preparedness, and engage with members of the community, as well as vital partners, to strengthen resiliency and security of the United States. The whole community approach to emergency management engages governments at all levels with communities and individuals when responding to disasters. It provides a strategic framework to guide all members of the emergency management community and integrates whole community concepts into their daily practices. This approach is not intended to be an all-encompassing or focused on any specific phase of emergency management or level of government, nor does it offer specific prescriptive actions that require communities or emergency managers to adopt certain protocols. Rather, the approach provides an overview of core principles, key themes, and pathways for action that have been synthesized from a year-long national dialogue initiated by the Federal Emergency Management Agency around practices already used in the field. This new approach provides a starting point for those learning about whole community approaches or looking for ways to expand existing practices and to begin more operational-based discussions on further implementation. These three principles, understanding and meeting the actual needs of the whole community, engaging and empowering all parts of the community, and strengthening what works well in communities on a daily basis, provide a foundation for pursuing a whole community approach to emergency management through which security and resiliency can be attained. You can find this information out by simply Googling OECD Toolkit for Risk Governance, Whole Community Approach. This goes on to discuss specifics about why the good practice was developed, the specific objectives that are the incentives for us doing this workshop today, including with those objectives are to engage members of the community as vital partners in enhancing their resiliency and security through a whole community approach, to achieve better outcomes in emergency management, and to increase individual preparedness to disasters. That's where we come in. In 2011, President Barack Obama signed into law the National Preparedness Goal with a presidential directive number 8. And the National Preparedness Goal defines what it means for the whole community to be prepared for all types of disasters and emergencies. The goal itself is succinct: a secure and resilient nation with the capabilities required across the whole community to prevent, protect against, mitigate, respond to, and recover from the threats and hazards that pose the greatest risks. These risks include events such as natural disasters, disease pandemics, chemical spills, and other man-made hazards, terrorist attacks, and cyber attacks. Again, you can simply Google FEMA National Preparedness Goal, and you'll be able to download the information yourself so that you could use this to help guide your activities in your local communities that align with the national objectives. Locally, and I have to apologize to you, I closed the window that I need to share with you next. Yes, you can actually go to FEMA, the Federal Emergency Managers Institute, training.fema.gov, and you can find courses that are available for you to take free of charge to help you to build your expertise and understanding of ways that you can understand, become more aware of disasters, to do planning for disasters, to prepare for disasters, and also recover from disasters, including pathways to e-grants for local communities, and also preparation for those re-entering the workforce or re-entering the community. Going further, becoming more specific, here in Los Angeles, we were gifted with the Los Angeles fire department's efforts to engage and develop what now is a national and international movement called the Community Emergency Response Team, or CERT. For those of you that are here in the Los Angeles area, you can get engaged with free training. I know this is a bit light, so I'll read this to you. In Los Angeles, there are more than 4 million people in the city every day. Charles, I'll get to you in just a moment. Whether they are residents or visitors. The diverse nature of the city, not to mention more than 470 square miles of geography, make a high-risk situation in the event of a major disaster. Thankfully, the city has not suffered the types of catastrophic earthquake, flood, and other FEMA-categorized events that can bring the city to its knees. To ensure that the population has the best possible chances of surviving a disaster and thriving afterwards, the Los Angeles Fire Department supports and trains residents to be disaster first responders. The program is called the Community Emergency Response Team, or CERT. Again, you can just simply Google CERT or Community Emergency Response Team and get access to this information. You can find out what the origins are of CERT. You can find out that you can join CERT. This is open to anyone in good health and with a sense of community can become a part of CERT. If you become a CERT member, you will learn about important life safety supporting techniques. You will, however, not be expected to place yourself in dangerous situations, either in the training or when a disaster strikes. Training includes learning to suppress small fires, basic first aid, including ABC treatment, treatment for shock and related techniques, evacuation techniques, and how to collaborate with city agencies to support neighborhood exits, search tactics, and communications, including the use of radios. A key factor for CERT members is the ability to spontaneously organize and activate themselves in the event of a major disaster. For example, if there is a significant earthquake, phones and other communication channels may be interrupted. CERT members will know where to go, how to organize their efforts, and will get to work without specific order being issued. A CERT member's first responsibility is to his or her own self, then his or her family, and finally, his or her community. As we move to the conclusion of this presentation, we're introducing tools and resources that we can use locally to address the areas of disaster awareness, disaster planning, disaster preparation, and disaster recovery. One of those tools is readily available online at ready.lacity.gov. Being prepared will save your life, literally. You can go here to meet Ryland, which is the City of Los Angeles Emergency Management Department, Ready Your LA Neighborhood, or Ryland program. Ryland provides free and easy to use tools to help you and your family business, and neighborhood prepare for disasters. Emergency preparation today will help you to reduce injuries, protect your property, and most importantly, save lives. There are several options here for you to learn and engage your children, your family, your neighbors. For example, under Prepare Your Household. Preparing your household reduces the serious impacts of disaster. Many activities are free of charge and take only minutes. Pack an emergency kit and develop an emergency communication plan. I'm going to just briefly show you that you can again click on Learn More, and you'll be taken to a page where you can start preparing today. Personal preparedness is a big part of neighborhood preparedness. What you do today to get ready for emergencies and disasters could make all the difference when they strike. Some simple guidelines are to start an emergency kit. Many of the things you should include in your emergency kit are already in your home. look around and assemble key supplies. Just to let you know, at one time, we were urged to make provisions for at least 48 hours of taking care of ourselves in a disaster. However, more recently, that has been changed to being prepared for up to 14 days of being prepared in the event of emergent major disaster. Some of the items you need to include are water, food, battery-powered or hand-cranked radio, flashlights and batteries, a whistle to signal for help, duct tape, plastic sheetings, hygiene supplies, tools such as shut-off wrenches for gas lines, local maps, blankets and sleeping bags, extra clothes and good shoes, medications and spare or old eyeglasses. There's actually an emergency supply kit. And for those of you who have pets, there's also a pet supply kit. But preparation starts at home. You must start your household emergency communication plan because disasters rarely happen at an ideal time. You can come here and get information about ways that you can also start receiving emergency alerts. Notify LA is the City of Los Angeles emergency notification system and the best way to communicate with you during emergencies. It's free and easy to sign up. Go to notifyla.org. And finally, for this particular example, you can get the Household Preparedness Guide. This is in English and in Spanish for a complete guide and a quick reference guide. You can also watch these simple emergency preparedness videos. It's broken up into 2 parts. I don't think I'll take time now to go through them, but I will again take you back to where I was before. This is Rylan, and this is just one example of a deep dive that is available to you online. Just as that was an example of preparing your household, you have to also prepare your neighborhood because disasters could overwhelm the capacity of 911. Neighbors can become your best source of help. So you need to develop a plan of how your neighbors will help each other in the first few hours after an emergency. Again, when you click on More, you'll find a deep dive into neighborhood preparedness. Rylan is a free workshop that gives you the steps to take immediately after a disaster to help you, your household, and your neighborhood safe. The workshop, there's a free 90-minute workshop that you can register to attend and be able to learn how to build a neighborhood preparedness plan. There's a flyer, there's pillars, and there's also more in-depth information. Please go to ready.lacity.gov, neighborhood workshops, and request a Ready Your LA Neighborhood Workshop. You'll be provided all the tools and materials you need to develop a neighborhood response plan. EMD staff are available to support your efforts at every step. Once you submit your information, you will receive an email with the next steps and links to the associated materials. The plan includes a list of skills and equipment that you and your neighbors possess, what steps to take immediately after disaster, and how to break up into response teams. After you've submitted your information, expect EMD staff to reach out to you within 2 weeks to discuss the specifics of your workshop and help plan your approach. The EMD staff assigned to your area will continue to support as much as you would like leading up to and following your workshop. Again, you can click on this link and request a workshop. Finally, in this particular example, I took one step too far. Okay, let me go back to where I was. You can prepare your business. And the same thing, when you click Learn More, you'll find more information about how to prepare your business. These last 3 panels deal with getting connected. To sign up Well, I think it's important. Let me go back a step. I apologize. So prepare your business. Many businesses will not reopen after a widespread disaster. A few simple steps today will ensure your business recovery. Prepare your workplace for safety, train employees, and organize your vital business records. When you click on Learn More, it takes you to a deep dive into ways you can safeguard against disasters. In this workbook, it'll guide you through the easy steps you can do today to protect your employees' lives, your livelihood, and your years of hard work. The Ready Your LA Business Workshop is an all-in-one planning tool designed for busy business owners like you. The workshop will guide you through how to take steps to secure your business premises, plan shelter-in-place locations, evacuation routes, and other safety protocols. Onboard, train, and form an emergency response team with your employees. Collaborate with your immediate community to develop a neighborhood plan. Assess your insurance coverage, organize your vital records, and rebuild your business after an emergency. So, of course, this deals with the recovery part, but you have to plan for the unpredictable. The benefits of business preparedness are that 1, it can save lives, 2, to protect the community, 3, protect your hard work, 4, rebuild faster, and 5, increase your business confidence. Ready Your LA Business makes preparing your business easy and quick. There are workshops and worksheets that are free of charge. If you just click on the link right there, you can get this information so that you can begin right now to learn how to better prepare your business. Again, there's also on YouTube, Ryland, Ready Your LA Business, Part 1 and Part 2. The preparedness plan tutorial takes you through preparing for safety, training your employees, organizing for recovery. And if you want help in a disaster, you have to understand that it's a community effort. After a disaster, the Emergency Management Department will activate the Business Operation Council, a group of engaged businesses who are willing to dedicate their time and resources to help Los Angeles continue. After you successfully complete your emergency plan, let your employees and customers know your commitment to safety by using the free promotional materials that's made available to you in both English and in Spanish. It also provides you an overview so that you can provide this information to your local employees and to the general public. Thank you so much for allowing me to share this information with you. I'm going to stop share. I'm going to repost our opening screen, and then we're going to open up the floor for comments and questions. Again, thank you so very much. Charles E. Sharp, you had a question earlier, so now's the time for you to bring that to the table. If you would, Charles Sharp.
Hello, Andrew, and hello, everyone on this workshop presentation briefing. I would like to say, Andrew, this is an outstanding job you've done, and I hope it is recorded and it can be exported or shown once a week. It could be shown once a week to get that information out there to saturate those in your community locally. And to those on my hand was raised at the FEMA EMI, that's the Emergency Management Institute. I just wanted to make one comment about that to our international viewers, those in the workshop internationally, in any country you're in, you can get that FEMA training by asking your local American embassy, is it available? There is funding for that. They will provide it. So it's not just for US citizens, it can be exported. And that means that even in our community, you can be registered as a trainer. You, Andrew, if you were a trainer, a train-the-trainer in incident command, you can be contracted through the federal government, through FEMA and the State Department to give that type of class in another country. So there's a process for this. And I just wanted to pull that out. But you've done an outstanding job. focusing in on, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, well, yes. Well, thank you. And we are, in fact, streaming this. As I said, one of our partners is Lady Alicia Hamilton. So let me let everyone know that you can find this information out online. It's on the AHIABGA-TV network on Facebook group, but we will also be uploading this to YouTube, Charles, so that anyone can access this information 24 hours a day. Thanks to Lady Alicia, we'll also be having a podcast so that those people that are traveling in their cars, who may not even have access to a computer, can still get this information on a regular and timely basis. So yes, Charles, thank you so very much. We do have one other guest, Professor Jared from Kenya. Now's the time, sir, if you'd like to make a comment. Now's that time. If not, we're going to close today's session. Going once, going twice. Okay, well, Charles E. Sharp, thank you so very much for your participation. And I'm urging everyone to reach out to not just FEMA, but also BEMA, the Black Emergency Managers Association International. You can find them on, just type in Google. Google will find it for you. Thank you so much, Charles. I'm going to end this presentation. Have a fantastic day to all. Thank you.